When you have the right mindset, everything that you do is no longer busy work. Everything that you do is really to achieve that ultimate life vision that you have for yourself. There's really no waste of your time, no waste of your focus and energy. And that is truly living a productive life, a healthy life with a healthy mindset. There's no wasted time.
If you're struggling with your vitality, energy, mood, focus, or sleep, this podcast is for you. Your host, Dr. Tsung, ER doctor and aerospace flight surgeon, will help you reach for the stars and remove the barriers or blockades that have been holding you back from living your best life. If you've been challenged by your health, relationships, or productivity, then it's time for a breakthrough. So here's your host, Dr. Tsung.
Hello, and welcome to It's Not Rocket Science Show. I am your host, Dr. Tsung. Today, I'd like to talk about goal setting and the mindset of goal setting as a, overarching framework of how you can set the goals for your life, and then moving on to quarterly goal setting, annual goal setting, and then you dial down to the month, and then the week, and then the day. And sometimes we get busy doing the little things, the busy things, but they don't really move the needle. So we want to zoom out first to take a look of what is really driving us. So let's dive in. When you look at your goals in life, we had discussed in the very beginning of the episode that the prior episodes that start with your why. Why do you want to do this venture? Why do you want to do the career that you're doing? What is your why? And my why is human optimization. And that's the reason why I'm always looking for ways to hack productivity, to improve the relationship, to improve the emotional state. And I want to help others to achieve those states. And my ultimate goal is really to achieve the 5 freedoms in life. And you can view it as, there's financial freedom, of course. A lot of us are striving for that, but there are also 4 other freedoms that we often don't think about. So those 4 other freedoms, this is coming from my coach, who is very, very inspirational. The first one is time freedom. You want to be free of, being told where to go at a certain time. Eventually, currently it's a little bit hard if you have a job with the corporate, in the corporate world or in the government. But, eventually down the line, that's probably what most people would like. And the other freedom is location freedom. Right now, during the pandemic, a lot of people have experiences that they're able actually to work wherever they want. It's liberating in a way. You don't necessarily have to move for your job anymore. You can live where you've always wanted to live. So that's location freedom. And then there is something called the vitality freedom. And what that means is optimal health. In order to do the things that you wish to do to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, you want to have a healthy body, a healthy mind, right? So if there's some sort of ailment that you're dealing with, that's going to take away your focus on achieving this freedom. So vitality freedom, your health, your mind, is super important as well. And the last thing I think is the most important, probably, is emotional freedom. So you're not trapped in your own head, that you're not giving negative self-talk to yourself every day, to be able to deal with stress, to be able to interact with others without it affecting you. If somebody makes a negative comment to you, or if somebody makes you feel dumb or stupid, that you have the emotional freedom and mindset to be able to cope with that and not let it affect you, and to just let it flow through you and take it as a lesson. So those, again, are the 5 freedoms in life that I am achieving, and that you can examine your life right now and see if that resonates with you. The time freedom, the financial freedom, location freedom, vitality freedom, and emotional freedom. And to achieve all that, my way to achieve all that is to participate to help in human optimization in all aspects of life, especially in relationships, productivity, and health. And now that you think about your why, and later you examine closely, okay, so what are items or projects or goals I can set for the year that will help me move the needle forward in any of those freedoms? And again, they don't have to be simultaneous because life goes in seasons. Sometimes you can focus on one freedom. Sometimes the next few months you focus on another freedom. It just, you flow with life. You be flexible. So my coach has told me that really in 1 year, you can focus on 5 goals a year. If you have more than 5 major goals a year, then you're taking your time and focus away from them too much. You're spreading yourself too thin. And really, in the end, it's difficult to progress on them because you're dealing, if you have like more than 5 major, you're kind of dealing with one putting out fire in the other, and it just doesn't move the needle forward as easily. So you examine what 5 goals or major projects you would like to achieve. And again, they don't necessarily have to be career or financial oriented. They can be relationship oriented. Say, for me, this year, I want to plan a magical wedding with my fiance. And that's my major goal of the year. And I'm going to put in my focus to achieve that. It doesn't have to be just, oh, I need to learn this and I need to make however much money. And after you have the 5 goals down, that everything you do that year should be to move the needle forward in any of those goals. And you frequently examine those 5 goals. You have it written down somewhere, and then you're always looking at it. Sometimes I have it Post-it notes on my mirror in the bathroom of those action items or goals, or what I would like to celebrate, what I would for myself, for relaxation. Always like put it somewhere you can see so that you remember, you're reminded of it. And now, after you set the 5 goals, you can take a look at it in the quarterly sense as well. Some of the actions that you need to take, some of the skills that you would like to learn. Or I have a whiteboard in my office and I split it up into months. And then each month, it's better if you write instead of doing it digitally, because sometimes when you're writing, the thoughts just flow and you remember it better, and then it kind of sets your intention better. It's definitely different from typing in the computer. So I have in there spread out monthly. Again, this is a rough draft. Don't give yourself negative self-talk if you don't reach all of your milestones each month or quarterly. I have on the top the skills that I need to learn. So for me, currently, it's flight surgeon training, and also learning how to create the podcast, learning how to speak, perhaps learning how to speed read, and then there are actual task lists or goals that I would like to achieve that month. And at the very bottom of each month, I write down how I'm going to celebrate, how I'm going to rejuvenate myself, how I am going to relax, how I'm going to have me time, because it's really important to relish in the joy and the happiness and the fruits of your endeavors for the month, not just monthly, but really daily, or else you're just go, 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 go. There are always goals to achieve. There are always things to do. And if you don't stop and think and look back on how much you've done and take time for yourself, then you'll burn out like I have. So that's the monthly goal setting. And then you dial it down even more and think about what is the one thing or the few goals I can do this month or this week in order to achieve what I need to achieve, which is going back to your 5 goals in a year and dialing back even further the 5 freedoms in life, or whatever why or whatever life goals that you have envisioned for yourself. And after that, you will dial down even further to your daily goals. And the journaling that I do has helped me out tremendously to focus on quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. There's something called the priority matrix, and could be called the Eisenhower matrix. It's a matrix that President Eisenhower had actually used to prioritize his task list. And if you can just imagine 4 quadrants, and on the left upper portion, it is urgent and important task list. So those are the items that you put down where it's an emergency, it has to do with your family, it has to do with your health, that you have to take care of right at this moment. Okay. And then to the right of that quadrant, there is important, but not urgent. So what that is are the needle moving tasks that you have, but it's not emergent that you do it at this moment today. Okay. Those are the things that where you can relax, have deep focus. Those are the items where it uses up all of your capabilities and that you are trained to do. And those are the items that challenge you, that help you grow. All right. And then, so if you move down on the left lower quadrant, then you have the urgent but not important. So those are some of the emails, some of the meetings where you're not an active participant and it's not really benefiting you, but though you're invited to it. Maybe there are some phone calls that is urgent, but not quite important. It's important to the other person, but not important to you. So those are things you can perhaps automate or be more protective with your time. Really protect your morning time or when you're most focused. And then later in the afternoon, that's when I schedule those calls or meetings if I can, so that I'm fiercely protective of my time to do deep work and fiercely protective of my time so that I have no distractions and I can have time to spend with my loved ones, friends, family later on. And then at the right lower quadrant, those are the not important and not urgent. So what that means is that when those are the things essentially you can delete, that there's just busy work that you don't really need to do. So say social media, if you're just binging on social media, or if you're watching TV for hours and hours and hours on end, just clicking through the channels, doesn't really, move the needle forward in any way. You're not really learning anything, or you're relaxing, but at the same time, it's not in moderation. So take a look at the quadrants, and then from that, you can make a determination of what really goes on your priority list for the day. And there really for the day, you can accomplish 3 top priority, and you can set it so that you finish at least the top 1 or 2, the first hour or 2 of the day, so that you're not distracted by all of the other emails, all of the other calls that come to you later. And this is the reason why I wake up at 5 a.m. so I can do my self-care for the first hour in the morning, and I can begin working on anything that requires deep work or focus for the next hour or 2 hours of the day before everybody else start the workday. And so I know that was a lot, and there are definitely more things that we can do to dive into future episodes, but at least that's the overarching framework of goal setting. Really, to summarize, it's about remembering your why, it's remembering your life goal or life vision for yourself, and think about the 5 freedoms in life. If any of those resonate with you, feel free to take those as your life goal. Again, that's time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom, emotional freedom, and vitality freedom. And then you can look at the 5 goals that you want to achieve this year, then dial it down to quarterly, monthly, weekly, and daily. And when you have the right mindset, everything that you do is no longer busy work. Everything that you do is really to achieve that ultimate life vision that you have for yourself. There's really no waste of your time, no waste of your focus and energy. And that is truly living a productive life, a healthy life with a healthy mindset. That there's no wasted time. And again, when I say there's no wasted time, I'm not talking about, the time that you're not being productive. That also includes the time where you are relaxing, you're giving love to yourself, that you're giving yourself time to wind down. That is not a waste of time. Okay. All right. So please go to itsnotrocketscienceshow.com to see the show notes and photos of what I talked about. Sometimes it's easier to visualize it in the photo format of what the quadrant is like. And I'm really, really grateful for you to spending your time with me to learn together, to grow together. And remember, everything we need is already within us now. Thank you.
That's it for today's episode. Head on over to iTunes and subscribe to the show. One lucky listener every single week that posts a review in iTunes will win a chance in the grand prize drawing to win a private VIP day for a health and life makeover with Dr. Tsung herself. Then be sure to head on over to itsnotrocketscienceshow.com and pick up your free gift from Dr. Tsung. Then join us on the next episode.